Welcome to the Knovada Talent Management System presentation. A system that provides your company with the capability to manage and administer the complete employee life cycle for your organization's human resources management, learning management, and payroll system requirements. The talent management system includes applicant tracking, employee performance/appraisals, work schedule and time management, HRMS administration, payroll, learning management system and online university, asset management, document library, digital dictionary, testing, survey, assessment engine, and events calendar and scheduling. In this demonstration we will discuss how a company can manage and control their human resources management system through the HRMS administration module. The management and control being provided by a secure administration site, with access to the site being restricted to designated company employees, who either have system administration responsibilities or management personnel who require access to manage their employees. In addition, the HRMS administration site provides a company the opportunity to customize their site to meet their requirements. For example, field names can be changed to reflect naming conventions used by the company. Field displays on forms such as appraisals, online applications, or employee reports can be selected by the company. Company standards such as work schedules, leave accruals, holiday dates, and pay periods can be created and maintained by the company. The HRMS administration site is managed and controlled by a set of discrete tabs as displayed in the screen. Although this display lists all of the HRMS administration site tabs, the company has the option to restrict access to selected individuals for selected tabs. Although many of these tabs are self-explanatory, we will focus on those specific tabs which govern the overall framework of the HRMS system for the company. There is one common element among all the tabs, and that is the ability to add, update, search, or delete data entries within each of the tabs. The job position tab is the most critical component of the HRMS as it defines each work position in the organization as it relates to the job duties and responsibilities, qualifications and requirements, specific skill sets and competencies, and areas of expertise. It is the primary form for advertising new or replacement positions within the company, recruiting applicants as potential candidates for these new replacement positions, evaluating and ranking applicants through the hiring matrix, defining all attributes associated with an employee's position for which candidates will be evaluated as to their suitability, and serving as a primary input to the employee appraisal and career development. The Add Job Position display provides an example of a job position-specific attribute. The details for the Duty Complete Billing worksheet providing a description of the job duties, job duty category and the positions in which this duty is associated. By selecting the applicable job position general attributes and specific attributes, a comprehensive job position is then created and stored in the database. The HRMS System Administration Manual contains detailed instructions on the creation and maintenance of job position general attributes and job position specific attributes and how these building blocks are used to create the job position. Select the option to view job position from the drop-down box of job positions. Select the job position Customer Service Attendant and select View Job Position. This screen and the following screen display all the attributes associated with the job position of Customer Service Attendant. Please note that the current available positions determines if there are job openings currently available for the job position of Customer Service Attendant. For historical record-keeping purposes, this job position display does indicate that there was a position available and that the job position opening was posted on the company homepage. This second screen, which is actually a continuation of the previous screen and contains information specific to the job position such as geographic location, duties, associated language information, and other attributes which are specific to the job position of Customer Service Attendant. As mentioned earlier in this presentation, one of the objectives of the HRMS administration module is the ability to provide local control and administration of the system to the company's human resources and management staff. thereby significantly minimizing or possibly eliminating any requirement for the company to bring in outside resources to make changes to their system. This locals control is provided by 3 customization options available within the HRMS administration module. The first being the ability of the company to define how the fields should be displayed on the HRM second screens. The second option being the ability for the company to determine what fields should be displayed on the 3 employee tabs: appraisals, work schedules, applications, job positions, office locations, and payroll. The third customization option being the ability for the human resources staff and management staff to create the standard reports and user-defined reports without the need for the IT resources or external consulting resources. We will provide an example for each of these 3 options on the following displays. One of the customization options provided by the HRMS administration module is the ability to select the fields that should be displayed on various listings or forms within a company. In our example, we will use one of the 3 employee tabs to demonstrate how the fields can be selected for display. The staff members responsible for maintaining the employee database would select the Employees tab and Display Information sub-tab. The staff members responsible for maintaining the employee database would simply select Yes to display the field, or No, not to display the field on all employee listings or forms. Please note that any displayed text changes that were made as a result of using customization option number 1 would be displayed on the screen. For this demonstration, we actually had to have 6 separate displays reflect the large number of fields available within the employee database. This large number of fields should accommodate and support any specific country requirements for maintaining employee information. Once a staff member selects the applicable yes or no answers and selects Update Display Information, and the field displays for the employee database will be updated. As a result of selecting either yes or no on the field display for employees, when a listing of employee is provided, just those fields identified with a yes option would be displayed as shown on the screen. Another customization option available within the HRMS administration module is the creation of both standard and user-defined reports. To demonstrate the report customization option, we will step through the process to create an ad hoc employee report. The report selection screen provides the option to either select an existing employee report, or to create and save a new report. In addition to what has been discussed in the Human Resources Management System Administration module, the module also provides record keeping and other specific functions vital to your organization. For example, the scheduling of and feedback on applicant interviews and exit interviews. The ability to add, update, search, or delete data entries within each of the menu tabs. This one module is used for managing the overall system architecture to support your entire organization. We will now discuss the Knovada Learning Management System, a system that provides a comprehensive blend of tools and capabilities to address your training requirements. Knovada provides a comprehensive online training solution that answers every one of these training challenges. Our advanced software suite is built in a modular fashion to provide rapid activation, scalable resources, and powerful integrated performance. It is important to note that Knovada provides a one-stop solution for all training needs: content delivery, testing, scoring, and reporting. All integrated with your existing brand, standards, and seamlessly delivered to a virtually unlimited audience. This single-point solution gives you total training resources without any complex integration projects or long implementation cycles. It all comes pre-integrated, pre-configured, and ready to use. Other best-of-breed solutions require a lot of complex point-to-point integration that increases cost, decreases reliability, increases user difficulty, and decreases performance. The interactive classroom allows you to create a powerful training resource and deliver them online. It is a module-based development system that provides the fastest time to market, simple user interface, and management tools, which eliminates the need for web-based programming. Our scalable database format allows the system to grow as you grow, thereby protecting your investment. By implementing the online publishing and delivery methodology, you all but eliminate the cost of printing and shipping. The system architecture allows for instant updates and distribution to ensure the most up-to-date information is immediately available to everyone. Additionally, our seamless integration extends your online brand throughout all collateral and training materials. Online content delivery provides a long list of benefits over traditional offline training programs. The Knovada system goes one step further to provide powerful integration features that significantly increase the value of your training investment. Some of the exclusive benefits you will receive from Knovada include a fast, easy, reliable activation process with no need to reinvent the process. The LMS provides a simple user interface that anyone can use. There is no complex training to use the new training tool. The ability to only buy what you need, but grow as large as you need. You can reduce or eliminate the expensive reprint cycle. Everyone gets the latest information at the same time. Transparent integration gives one consistent image and preserves your company brand throughout the organization. As with other Knovada user-based modules of the HRMS, the administration module provides the organization the capability to configure the LMS to meet their specific requirements. We will discuss several of these options in the following screens. By selecting the Curriculum Displayed tab, the system will display the attributes associated with that curriculum. By simply selecting Yes or No to include or not include fields on the curriculum template, or by making a choice in the pull-down boxes, the organization can configure the curriculum. There is no expensive customization required. In addition to providing the capability to manage online content, our LMS provides the capabilities to administer and manage traditional classroom training by supporting all required processes associated with such training. Our LMS solution is based upon a hierarchical structure to ensure all the data elements associated with traditional and online classroom training are associated correctly, thereby eliminating the requirements for multiple data entry points, enhancing data integrity, and providing a composite view of the information required to manage the training curriculum. For online and traditional classroom training, the hierarchy consists of instructors who actually teach the courses, the course categories available, and courses within each category. For traditional classroom training only, the hierarchy consists of training locations, registrations submitted for each of these courses at a training location, and the actual students who attend each course at the training location. As discussed previously, the highest level in our traditional classroom training hierarchy would be the actual training location, normally associated with the location of designated training centers. This screen and the next several screens display the attributes that can be associated with the training location. You have the capability to manage information regarding the seating capacity, number of tables, and to identify the facilities manager. In addition, you can track information such as the availability of a whiteboard, sound system, overhead projector and PA system. To add an instructor, select the Instructors tab and select Add Instructors. You would then complete the information and select Add Instructor. For our presentation, we will use existing instructors. The next topic we will discuss is the adding of courses. Although most attributes associated with a course are specific to that course, there are 4 attributes within the LMS that can be associated with any course managed by the LMS. Those 4 specific attributes are task, required materials, objectives, and tests. The next attribute is tests. As with task, required materials, and objectives, all tests within the LMS will appear as drop-down values and are available for selection when the administrator adds or updates a course. Unlike these first 3 general course attributes which simply display the drop-down values entered directly by the administrator, the test capability within the LMS is a very comprehensive set of features and functions which allow the administrator to customize tests to adhere to the standards of the company and/or the unique requirements of the associated courses. For demonstration purposes, for adding courses in the next section, we will have the option to select from 3 specific tests which have been previously created by the administrator. The LMS has a very flexible yet comprehensive test module by which the company can create and maintain their own library of tests, making these tests available for selection when adding or updating course information as previously discussed regarding the adding of courses. With the vast array of capabilities, features and functions of our test module, the LMS provides a specific set of tabs associated with this module. To access these tabs, select Test on the main menu. Some of the additional capabilities of managing a test will now be discussed. The first one is the Answer Question tab. The purpose of this tab is to create additional follow-on questions for an existing test based upon the answer given by the test taker to an original question. The purpose of this follow-on question is allowing the test taker to explain or clarify the reason for selecting such an answer to the original question. The next tab is the Answer Response tab. Similar to the tab entitled Answer Questions, Answer Responses provides the capability to create responses to the answers submitted to questions on the original test. The next tab is the Test Report tab. There are 5 options available in the Test Reports tab as displayed on the screen. Statistical Reports provides a number of statistical reports. Control Numbers reports allow you to run a report on the specific control number. The Dynamic Reports allows you to select the descriptions or questions and associated selection criteria on those descriptions or questions. The dynamic reports generated within the Test Reports tab can be saved into stored test reports. These stored test reports can then be processed by selecting the Stored Test Reports subtab, whereby the parameters of the report are maintained. The administrator simply runs the report with the parameters being applied to the new test results. Another widely used report category is the Listing Test Reports. The Scoring tab is used to determine the action which should be taken based upon the scoring results by each test taker for a specific test. A maximum of 20% ranges can be specified for a test, whereby the administrator would select the low percentage and the high percentage for each of the ranges. Based upon the actual percentage results for a test taker on the test, a specific action can be identified by specifying a redirection name and redirection type. This screen displays the main navigation page for the LMS and the available selections in the LMS homepage. The first button we are going to discuss is the Search Catalog function. By clicking on the Search Catalog selection, the following screen is displayed. We will enter Excel in the course name field. By clicking on the Search Catalog button, the following screen is displayed. This screen displays the courses that were selected and the enrollment status. Please note that the enrollment status is enrolled. Had the LMS been configured to require payment or prior approval, the enrollment status would have been set to waiting for payment or approval. If the LMS had been configured to require prior approval, the necessary notification email would have been sent to the appropriate people. If a payment would have been required, the system can be integrated with PayPal. When a payment has been successfully completed, the status of the course will be changed to enrolled. The learner can only access courses or tests that have a status of enrolled. Since we have registered for the course, we are now going to navigate back to the LMS home page. We will now access the current curriculums. By clicking on the Access Current Curriculums button, the following screen which displays all courses in which the learner is enrolled. The learner is provided the course overview information, along with the ability to navigate back to the registered courses. We will access the course by clicking on the name of the course. We will now provide a brief overview of the creation of both standard and user-defined student reports. The Reports selection screen provides the option to either select an existing student report or to create a new report. In our example, we will create a new report. This is done by selecting Create a Report. In our ad hoc report selection, we will focus on data fields associated with student information. Select Make Ad Hoc Report Selections and the fields associated with this category of information will be displayed. We then simply select the fields which we would like to display on the report, those fields likewise being available to use as selection criteria. A total of 5 fields have been selected to be displayed on the report. One or more of these 5 fields can likewise be used as selection criteria in creating the report. We will now discuss the payroll system, which calculates gross pay for each employee, which includes salary or hourly wage information together with specific benefits such as mobile phone allowance, automobile allowance, and others you require. The deductions are calculated based upon the tax regulations of the specific country, with the final calculation being the net pay for the employee. Once the payroll processing is completed, the payroll information for each employee can be exported into an Excel spreadsheet, Word document or PDF. Print individual time slips, or transfer funds via direct deposit. When integrated with biometric and/or badge readers, employees' timesheet information is used when payroll is processed. The payroll module with biometric integration provides access to the organization biometric devices, which records attendance data. The payroll module uploads this attendance data to the payroll module for processing payroll. The payroll module provides the capability to calculate gross pay, allowances, deductions, applicable taxes and net pay for both employees and casual workers. The work schedule display information provides biometric and/or badge reader integration information. By selecting Yes and Integrate with Badge Reader indicates the organization wishes to integrate the biometric devices with the payroll module. The number of biometric or badge readers should also be selected at this time. The number of biometric or badge readers can be changed as the need arises. Selecting Yes and Allow Badge Reader to be uploaded indicates the organization wants to upload the Excel spreadsheet created by the biometric or badge reader device to the payroll module. Instructions for uploading this data are discussed later in this presentation. The organization can select the number of days to keep the uploaded files. The reader default access type can be set to entry, exit, or both entry and exit. The reader device default work schedule code name is the field value that associates the data from the biometric device as attendance data to be processed for payroll. The recommended code is biometric timesheets. When an employee is hired by the organization, their payroll information is entered into the HRMS database. When an employee or casual worker has a change to their payroll information, such as increase in the monthly salary, an increase to their hourly wage, or a bonus is awarded, the Update Payroll subtab would be used to enter this information. The payroll administrator has the ability to update payroll for a specific employee or can update all employees in a department. Should a bonus for an employee be awarded, the payroll administrator would use the Update Payroll subtab to remove this bonus figure after the final payroll run has been processed. Should a bonus be awarded for a department, both employees and casual workers in that department would receive the bonus, and the administrator would use the Update Payroll subtab remove this bonus figure after the final payroll run has been processed. The organization selects the end date for each pay period for the year through the Payroll Dates subtab. The payroll dates indicate the time span for the biometric event data timesheets to be used for processing payroll. When processing payroll for the pay period, these dates would be used. Employees on the salary are not required to have event data recorded by the biometric device time in and time out, as the payroll module calculates the time slip amount for the pay period unless the employee on the salary is allowed to get overtime pay. For these salary employees who are allowed to get overtime pay, the employee would have their event data recorded by the biometric device so the payroll module can calculate the overtime hours for the salaried employees. An alternative to having the salaried employees who are entitled to get overtime pay required to have their event data recorded would be to have the overtime pay be identified as a bonus for the pay period by using the Update Payroll subtab. The next topic we will discuss is how to update payroll display information. Selecting the Payroll Display Information subtab provides two views for displaying payroll information. Selecting Main Payroll View will list those fields which contain basic payroll information such as salary or hourly wage, overtime differentials, and employee identification information. Selecting Payroll Processing View provides options for displaying additional payroll information required for processing payroll with the payroll module such as allowances, country tax tables, and for entering instructions to the centralized bank. Now we will discuss how to administer the payroll tax table. Selecting the Payroll Tax Table subtab will display the tax tables associated with the country where the organization is located. In our example, we are displaying one of the two tax tables, which is the standard percentage-based tax table. The other tax table being the defined by the user. Should any of the variables change in these tax tables, the administrator has the ability to update the entries. We will now discuss the Employee Banking subtab, which contains the banking information for each employee. There are options for the method of payment to the employee and the option to have 3 bank accounts with the ability to have deposits made to each of the 3 accounts. In the full display, all payroll dates for the year up to and including the current month in which the payroll process is run will be displayed. For example, if the pay period for August was selected to process payroll and the date the payroll was processed for August was actually in September, the September payroll date would appear as shown in the display. The organization has the option to process payroll for individual employees by using the drop-down box in the box entitled Select the Employee to Process. Can select by employee type, all employees, casual, only or standard, only. Special processing dates can likewise be entered should an organization choose to process a special payroll run for a date span within a payroll period. Selecting Process Payroll will create the payroll report. Due to the width of this report, only the first 10 columns of the report are displayed. It is recommended that the biometric event data be uploaded on a periodic basis. It is likewise recommended that the payroll process be run on a periodic basis throughout the payroll period, which will provide the opportunity to review the timesheet data being processed for the payroll with sufficient time to correct any discrepancies. Selecting the Payroll Reports subtab will display the reports available in the payroll module. The payroll report has itemized details which comprise the calculation of net pay. The payroll report contains the summary of basic salary, gross pay, total deductions, tax relief, and net pay. The payroll report detail will provide the same detailed information as displayed in the listing created when process payroll is selected and allows the administrator to make any necessary corrections by clicking on the employee's name. There are budget impact reports which can be used for budget planning by department or supervisor. Determining the impact for percentage increases in payroll and the impact of awarding bonuses. Selecting Employee and Payroll Reports will display a listing of CAN reports that are packaged in the HRMS. The HRMS also provides an ad hoc reporting capability by which the organization can create custom reports. For illustration purposes, we have listed a number of ad hoc reports that were created using the option Create a Report. We will now discuss the features and functions of the Work Schedule and Employee Time Management module, which formalizes personal scheduling, the administration of timesheets, manages employee leave accruals, provides the option for the company to designate multiple approval levels based on work schedule type, and provides the capability for timesheets for specific work schedules to be used as source data for billing. By clicking on the Work Scheduling button and the Signing On to the system, the following screen will be displayed. The supervisor Chest 4 would have access to each of their subordinate employees' personal calendars by choosing the employee from the Employee drop-down box and clicking on the Select the Employee button. In addition, the supervisor or manager will have access to a number of reports by selecting the Reports button on the right side of the screen. These reports will be covered later in this demonstration. This screen would be used by an employee who is either manager or a supervisor. The only difference being the lack of a Reports button in the upper right-hand corner. There are a number of buttons available to each employee. The first button being the Start Conference button, which allows the employee to initiate a conference. The View Accrual Information, which provides an accrued balance in hours or days for each of the leave categories authorized by the company. The employee can likewise view holiday dates and payroll end dates by selecting the applicable buttons. The Enter Timesheets button will provide the employee a template to enter timesheet information. The Submit Request button will be used by the employee to submit future work schedule requests to their supervisor for approval. The key component in the Work Scheduling and Employee Time Management module is a designation of work schedule codes. These codes are created and maintained by human resources staff of the company. These work schedule codes are used for future work schedule requests as well as entering actual hours or days worked on timesheets. To illustrate the use of work schedule codes for future work request, we will select the Submit Request button. By selecting the Submit Request button on the previous screen, the Add Request screen is displayed to the employee, which lists all sanctioned and company-approved work schedule codes. In our example, the employee will select a work schedule code name of personal leave and select the Add Request button. By selecting the Add Request button on the preview screen, the employee's personal calendar will be displayed. In our example, the employee wishes to take 10 November through 14 November as personal leave. The employee would put a check mark in the box for each of the 5 days being requested for personal leave as displayed on the screen. Scrolling to the bottom of the screen, the employee would then select Add Request. After selecting Add Request on the previous screen, a pre-populated template for the request type and the dates for personal leave is displayed to the employee. If the site is configured for timesheet hours, then the employee can either use the start shift time and end shift time to populate the hours and minutes for each of the 5 days. Or if an entire shift is not being requested for personal leave, the employee would enter the start hours and end hours. If the site is configured for timesheet days, then the employee can only enter in the days. The employee would then select the Add Request button to submit the request for personal leave to their supervisor for approval. Whereas work requests refer to work schedules in the future, timesheets refer to the actual time spent on each of the work schedule codes. To support the payroll processing for timesheets, the timesheets should be submitted by the last payroll date. The company does have the option, however, to establish a grace period which defines a number of days beyond the end of the period for which timesheets for that pay period can be submitted and approved. To start the process of compiling timesheets, the employee would access their personal calendar and select the Enter Timesheet Information button to display the timesheet template. The employee can use the calendar to select a specific date in which to enter timesheet information. The employee would select the applicable work schedule codes that would be associated with the day they have selected. After entering this information, the employee would select Add Timesheet Information. A confirmation of the timesheet entries is provided to the employee. If the employee notices errors, they can either update or delete a timesheet entry by selecting the applicable links. The employee will now make a timesheet entry for the selected date, and the employee can repeat this process to enter in all timesheet information for the selected date. Once all the timesheet information has been entered, the employee can select View Timesheet Report Information, and the employee's timesheet for the current pay period is displayed. The employee can likewise view the previous pay period timesheet, or if any entries have been made for the next pay period timesheet. Selecting Back to Timesheet Report Information will navigate the employee back to the original timesheet template. Once all timesheet information has been entered, the employee can submit their timesheets for approval. This process will update the various leave accruals, both adding the designated hours or days for various leave categories accrued in the pay period. It will also deduct hours or days of the various leave categories actually taken during the pay period. The approval process will likewise validate the employee work schedule codes for submission to the payroll system. Additionally, if the system is configured, it can generate invoice reports for billable work. To start the process for timesheet approval by a supervisor, on or after the payroll period end date, the supervisor, in our example, Test 4, should log into their personal calendar for the purpose of reviewing and accepting or declining their employee timesheets which have been submitted for final approval. From their personal calendar, Test 4 would select Enter Timesheet Information and the following screen will be displayed. Test 4 would select the View Outstanding Request Report button, which will list all outstanding timesheets which are awaiting approval by Test 4. The supervisor would select End Employee and review their timesheet information. The supervisor can then elect to approve the timesheet information submitted by the employee. The employee's timesheet information is removed from the outstanding request details shown on this display. Once a timesheet has been submitted for approval by an employee, that employee will no longer have access to that timesheet information. If corrections are required for the timesheet, the supervisor or designated administrator will be solely responsible for making those corrections. There are a number of reports that are available to the supervisors regarding work schedule requests and timesheets. There are 2 sets of reports available to the supervisor. These reports are accessed on the supervisor's personal calendar page by selecting the Reports button in the upper right-hand corner of the page. The first set of reports deal with work schedule code requests which had been submitted by employees for approval, such as personal time off, bereavement, sick time off, etc. The second set of reports, the timesheet reports, apply to all work schedule codes which have been entered in their timesheet as actual hours worked. We will discuss a few of the reports. The first report in the work schedule report menu is the View Outstanding Request Information. By selecting this report, the supervisor can view any outstanding work schedule request within a time frame designated by the supervisor. We will now discuss the features and functions of the applicant tracking module. Using this module, company can post open job positions on their homepage to be accessed by both external applicants and internal employees of the company. External applicants can then complete their employment applications online for submission to the company. This module performs an evaluation of each candidate's application and provides a hiring matrix which rates each candidate based upon parameters established by the company. This hiring matrix significantly enhances the screening process used for evaluating external applicants and internal employees. This allows the hiring manager to select only the top candidates to go to the next step in the hiring process. The company has the option to formalize the scheduling of candidate reference responses and candidate interviews with timeframes for interview evaluations, thereby allowing objective and timely feedback on the results of the interviews. Once the candidate is selected for the job position, all applicable data on the candidate's application is auto-loaded into the company's employee database, thereby eliminating any need to manually enter the candidate's information. The applicant tracking module begins with the creation of a job opening for a job position within the company, with a job opening being placed on the company's homepage. To accomplish these 2 tasks, we would simply update the job position for which an opening exists. Since the applicant tracking module uses the job position information, you will need to make sure the job position information for the advertised job position is up to date. For our presentation, we will use the job position of Customer Service Attendant within the Customer Services Department. By selecting a job position, the following screen is displayed. A candidate can select the job position of Customer Service Attendant in which to apply, and this screen displays the job position of Customer Service Attendant and the information regarding the job position, such as salary, position requirements, and a position description. A candidate will indicate their ability to meet each of these areas of expertise. These responses will be used to create a hiring matrix which will rank all candidates based upon their responses in being able to meet these areas of expertise. The areas of expertise are for illustration and demonstration purposes only. The company's HRMS administrative staff is responsible for the creation and administration of all associated areas of expertise that may be required by any job position within the company. Scrolling down to the bottom of the job position display, the candidate would select the tab "I would like to apply for this position," and the following screen is displayed. By selecting "I would like to apply for this position," an online application is displayed to the candidate to complete. Section 1 contains basic information about the candidate. For the sake of brevity, we have completed the information for candidate 1 and selected Next to go to the next page of the online application. This section of the application provides the candidate the opportunity to indicate their ability to meet the demands and requirements for the job position, together with indicating their areas of expertise required by the job position. As we mentioned earlier in the demonstration, the areas of expertise will be used as parameters in evaluating the qualifications of this candidate and creating a hiring matrix, which rates the candidate's applications. In our example, candidate 1 has indicated they meet the requirements required by the job position. In addition, they have the areas of expertise required by the job position. This section of the online application deals with the employment history for applicant 1. Once again, for the sake of brevity, we have completed the employment history for candidate 1. Basic information about their employment with this particular employer, Johnson Electronics. Their starting position, their current position, their starting salary, current salary, supervisor, and other items of information regarding their employment with Johnson Electronics. A separate page would be required for each employer for which candidate 1 worked for. In our example, we will restrict our employment history to just this employer, Johnson Electronics. Since we only have one employer for which we are providing information, we will scroll down to the bottom of the screen and select Next Page /section indicating "I am finished entering my job employment history." The final section of the online application deals with the educational level of the candidate and personal references the candidate wishes to provide. Note that one reference is required to be submitted. In this part of the application, the candidate must indicate whether they had ever been convicted of a criminal offense. If the answer is yes, they must complete the information as displayed regarding the criminal offense committed. In addition, there are general employment questions as depicted on the screen. The last paragraph in this section is for the candidate to attest to the fact that the application and information provided is complete and accurate to the best of their knowledge. To complete the application for submission, the candidate must acknowledge the fact that the company can review all information connected with the application and prospective employers. This acknowledgement is indicated by checking the box in the lower right-hand corner of the application. Selecting next to the lower left-hand corner of the display will confirm the application has been submitted by the candidate. In addition to the confirmation that the application has been submitted, the candidate is given the option to either print or email their application. Once again, for brevity purposes, we have completed additional online applications. We can now move to the next step of the online applicant tracking module, whereby the company evaluates the online applications submitted for the open job position. To start the candidate evaluation in the applicant tracking module, the hiring manager would select the Applications tab, then the Advanced Search Applications sub-tab. The selection of Basic Reports by Position or Custom Reports by Position will determine how the parameters are applied to the candidate's applications in creating a hiring matrix. The hiring matrix being a very valuable tool in the initial screening of candidate applications. Since we have a small number of candidates who submitted applications for the customer services representative position, we will use the Basic Reports by Position, thereby displaying more candidates when the hiring matrix is created. By selecting Basic Reports by Position, the following screen is displayed. This screen provides the ability to search employment applications based upon the job position in the drop-down box. In our example, we will search employment applications for the customer service attendant position. Selecting Search Employment Applications will provide the following display. This screen provides the hiring manager with the ability to apply specific criteria in selecting the applications to be placed on a hiring matrix. For example, returning the top 50 applicants based upon the candidates meeting specific job requirements within the job position, or selecting both internal and external applications. Scrolling down to the bottom of the display, select Search Employment Applications to create the hiring matrix. Based upon requirements and areas of expertise, the hiring matrix lists the candidates from most qualified to least qualified, with candidate 1 being one of the most qualified candidates. The hiring manager, by selecting last name in this example, 1, would then have candidate 1's application displayed to the hiring manager. The hiring manager would review the application of candidate 1 on this display and the following display. The hiring manager then decides that this candidate is the best candidate available for the job position and should go to the next step in the hiring process, which is contacting the candidate references. The hiring manager would then select as many of the candidate references that they would like to have provide feedback regarding the applicant. The hiring manager can check the skills and competencies that could be evaluated by the candidate reference. Additionally, the hiring manager sets the comment closing date for the candidate reference responses. The core component of the appraisal process is evaluating the employee's performance against the job duties associated with the job position held by the employee. This information is pre-populated in the appraisal by the Human Resources Management System, thereby making an appraisal very specific to the employee and their job duties rather than a generic appraisal template that applies to all employees. In our example, Test 1 has 4 specific job duties assigned to his job position. By clicking on the job duty, the supervisor would select the link entitled Add Strengths, Needs, and Strategies to start the process of evaluating the employee on that specific job duty. We will select the link Add Strengths, Needs, and Strategies for the first job duty entitled Complete Billing Worksheet for any service under a service level agreement. The following screen is then displayed. Once a candidate or candidates have been decided upon, the hiring manager would select candidate 1 to continue the hiring process. The hiring manager would select Set up an interview to start the interview scheduling process. The hiring manager would then select as many of the hiring interviewers that they would like to have interview the applicant. On or before the comments closing date, the interviewer should respond to the hiring manager with comments on the interview with the candidate. The hiring interviewer enters their comments regarding the interview. In addition, they provide a rating and a recommendation to the hiring manager. Based upon a review of the candidate's application and the comments from the hiring interviewer, the hiring manager has decided to hire the applicant for the customer service attendant job position. The hiring manager would select the Application tab, Hire Applicant sub-tab, and enter the first name and last name of the applicant and select Find the applicant. The hiring manager would simply select Hire Applicant to complete the hiring of candidate 1 for the position of customer service attendant. By selecting the Hire Applicant button, this screen is displayed to the hiring manager, for the hiring manager to input all relevant information now that the candidate is an employee of the company. We will now discuss the features and functions of the employee appraisal process. Unlike more generic employee evaluation systems, our HRMS provides the capability to evaluate an employee's performance based upon their specific job duties. We likewise provide the capability for the organization to create customized assignments and trainings for each of their employees. The combination of the evaluation based upon the performance of specific job duties, together with customized assignments and training, provides both an objective and a defensible appraisal process for the organization. As mentioned in an earlier slide, the HRMS has an administration module which provides the organization the capability to configure the system to meet their specific needs and requirements. An example of such a configuration option would be the decision by the organization to set either a 3-phase or a 1-phase approval process for appraisals. The 1-phase process being an appraisal which only requires a manager completing the final appraisal for their employee, whereas a 3-phase process includes a manager's pre-appraisal, the employee conducting their own self-evaluation, and a manager having the final appraisal completed. As with other user-based modules of the HRMS, the administration module provides the organization the capability to configure the appraisal process to meet their specific requirements. We will discuss several of these options in the following slides. Now that we have completed our discussion on the appraisal template, we will begin our discussion on the actual appraisal process. The online appraisal form is created in the administration module of the Human Resources Management System. The actual appraisal is completed on the organization's homepage. For this demonstration, we will use the 1-phase appraisal process whereby the supervisor will be the only one rating the employee. There will be no employee self-rating. The appraisal form for the employee is identified by the employee name and the employee appraisal date. There can be multiple employee appraisal dates within the system, those dates being either individually entered or through the bulk appraisal date option. For our demonstration, we will be entering a specific appraisal date for a specific employee. Our first step is to add an employee appraisal for test 1. By selecting Add Appraisals, the following screen will be displayed. We then enter the next appraisal date, and using the drop-down box for the appraisal name, we see the 3 templates available for appraisals which we discussed earlier. Since employee test 1 is in the Customer Services department, we'll use a template entitled Customer Service. By selecting Add Appraisal, the appraisal template Customer Service for employee test 1 will be added to the system with the confirmation displayed on the following screen. This display confirms that the employee appraisal for test 1 has been added. In addition to the confirmation that the appraisal has been added, this display also provides the opportunity for the appraising manager to create an assignment for test 1 before the appraisal process is initiated, where the appraising manager can create the assignment during the appraisal process. To create an assignment before the appraisal process is rarely used, since such assignments are normally based upon the strengths, needs, and strategies, which are identified during the evaluation. For illustration purposes only, we have displayed the drop-down values for the various assignment types. With the creation of this employee appraisal template for test 1, we are now ready to initiate the appraisal process. Now that we have completed the appraisal template for test 1, we will navigate to the organization's homepage to actually conduct the appraisal for test 1. The appraisal process for test 1 begins with the supervisor, in our example test 4, logging into the Human Resources homepage. The supervisor would then select the Appraisal Employee tab, entering first name, last name, and their password, and then selecting Sign On. Since we will be conducting an appraisal for test 1, we will select test 1 and the employee name. Select the tab entitled Select the Employee, and the following display is presented. The core component of the appraisal process is evaluating the employee's performance against the job duties associated with the job position held by the employee. This information is pre-populated in the appraisal by the Human Resources Management System, thereby making an appraisal very specific to the employee and their job duties rather than a generic appraisal template that applies to all employees. In our example, Test 1 has a number of job duties assigned to the job position. By clicking on the job duty, the supervisor would be able to add strengths, needs, and strategies to start the process of evaluating the employee on that specific job duty. We will now click on the first job duty entitled Complete Billing Worksheet for any service under a service level agreement. The following screen is then displayed. The manager can enter comments in the strengths, needs, and strategies free text boxes and also add comments regarding the job duty. The manager would likewise apply a rating for the job duty as displayed on the following screen. Although the entire appraisal template will be displayed on the screen, We will focus on that area of the appraisal template dealing with job duties and evaluations. Please note that once the job duty evaluation has been completed, it is moved to the bottom of the list of job duties, showing the status of the job duty evaluation being completed, the date it was completed, and since this is a one-phase approval process whereby just the manager provides the approval, it is shown as being approved. If we were operating under a three-phase approval process, the status of management approval would be pending, since the employee has not been given the opportunity to evaluate themselves, nor has it been submitted for final management approval. We will now complete the ratings-only approval for job duties 2 and 3. The manager can also add appraisal-specific assignments. We will add text into each of the 3 boxes: strengths, needs, and strategies, and rate the employee as shown in the next display. By selecting Submit Information, the strengths, needs, and strategies together would be overall rating for this job duty is entered onto the appraisal template. The system then automatically returns to the appraisal template main screen. Continuing with appraisal process, the manager would repeat this process for all appraisal-specific assignment. Once all changes are made, the manager would then send the report to the employee by selecting Email Summary Report at the bottom of the display. Based on the email sent to the employee by the manager, the next step would be a meeting between the manager and the employee to review the appraisal, perhaps even making changes to the appraisal. Once this process is completed, the supervisor would log back onto the system and select the option to finalize the appraisal. Once finalized, no changes can be made to the appraisal. Note that once the appraisal is finalized, the Finalize Appraisal option is removed from the screen. This concludes the demonstration of the Talent Management System Administration module. Should you have any questions about this demonstration, please contact your local account representative. Thank you for your interest in our talent management system.